Okay, back to the market and all the news that's coming in. Now, we can't take away from the earnings season. That's been pretty much the flavor as far as market action goes. Hinduja Global has also come out with numbers. In fact, if you just quickly run through some of the basics, sales for the company are up about 31%. The profits are up nearly 19 to 20%. And if you look at the operating profits in there, also we've seen an increase of about 29 to 30% for Hinduja Global. Stocks up, of course, volumes are pretty thin, just about 500 odd shares trading right now. Their margins for this quarter are at about 15%. The company has also recommended a pretty big dividend, 20 rupees a share. That's the kind of dividend that they have announced. So in the next couple of minutes, we'll be touching base with Mr. Partha DeSarkar. Ask him about what are the drivers behind this growth and what's happened. That will happen in the next couple of minutes. Before that, we need to get into a quick breather. We'll come back on the other side and get that conversation going with the management at Hinduja Global.
All right, let's turn our focus back to what's happening in our markets. We were talking about Hinduja Global and the sort of numbers that they reported. Just to remind you, sales are up 31%, net profits also up 19%. Partha DeSarkar is the CEO of Hinduja Global Solutions. He joins in right now. Mr. Sarkar, good morning. Thanks so much for coming on. Just looking at your numbers, the Jan to March quarter is historically one of your best quarters. In FY11, you also crossed the 100 crores annual revenue mark.
Yeah.
So, can you sustain this momentum going forward?
You know, I would say that we've traditionally always hit the 20% plus growth numbers year on year, okay? And because of the recession that happened in the last 2 years, I think last year our growth was around the 12% range. And that was really the lowest growth that we've had historically for God knows how many years. So glad to be back at the 20% growth rates and glad to cross the 1,000 crore mark. So that's a big achievement and landmark for us. We do believe that 20% is our normative number. Even though I'm not giving guidance, we don't officially give guidance. I do believe that 20% is our normative number and we'd like to improve on that.
And what vertical are you looking at to drive that growth?
Well, we have 3 verticals which contribute to 75% of our revenues, and you know, coincidentally, they are both about 25% each. So we've got telecom and technology, which is about 25%. That's a big growth driver. We've got healthcare, which is another 25%. And we've got consumer, which is another 25%. So all these 3 verticals are definitely verticals that are going through boom time. I would say healthcare definitely yes, telecom definitely yes. Consumer, you know, it's a function of how the retail spending is in the US and in the UK. So we'll watch it. As of now, we're still not concerned, but I think these 3 verticals will continue to be our growth drivers. We're looking at new niches, like we're looking at human resource outsourcing. We are also looking at F&A. We are looking at new markets, and the new markets we're looking at are Canada, we are looking at China, something in the Latin America and the Central America area. So these are the things that we're looking at to drive our growth.
And just looking at the amount that you've earmarked for your new BPO centers, you've earmarked about 50 to 60 crores to open those centers in FY12.
Right.
Where are you planning to open those centers, and can you walk us through where those plans stand, at least for now?
Okay, as of now, the best visibility that I have is we've just inaugurated, in fact, our Siliguri center in West Bengal went live day before yesterday. So that's tier 3 strategy, which is where we are trying to grow all our India domestic businesses. So that we hope to grow by about 500 seats, and that will be about 1,000 people. So we will pretty much be the biggest employer in that city. So that's one. We have an opportunity in Jamaica, and we have LOI from a company in Jamaica. We are exploring, we're going through the due diligence of setting up something greenfield there. So that's going to come up in Jamaica. We're also interested in Canada, so we'll see how that goes there.
All right, and what about back home in North India? How are you looking to bump up presence over there? You already talked about focusing in tier 3 cities. Can we expect to see more tier 3 cities in North India, see more of your centers?
Yeah, see, North India has been a gap for us. We are setting up something which is very small in Delhi itself, heart of Delhi, which is about 100-seater. That's going to come up in the next 2 months. And the search is on for the right tier 2, tier 3 city. It could be, again, those are expensive cities, of course. So it doesn't really give us the cost advantage that we're looking at for tier 2, 3, and this is very curious. In the north, we find this. When you go to the tier 2, tier 3 cities, the kind of cost breaks that you get if in the south or in the east, when you go to those cities, in the north, even the tier 2, tier 3 cities are pretty affluent, and cost of living is pretty high. So you know, it's not been an easy search for us. We're in the hunt for it still.
All right, and very quickly, what about funds for all of these expansion plans?
Oh, we're rolling in cash. We've got about 127 million in our banks, and that's going to be used for growth. So that's not a problem at all.
All right, Mr. Sarkar, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on,
you.
and we
Pleasure.
appreciate your time. Partha Sarkar is the CEO of Hinduja Global Solutions. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll speak with the management of Talwalkar's Fitness, find out what their plans are, and then commodities, how are they shaping up this afternoon? More after this break.